Today, we're demoting every single Pokemon champion. What do I mean by this? Basically, we're going to be demoting every single Pokemon champion into brand new gym leaders. But not just any gym leaders, the first gym leader at the start of the game. What will their teams look like? What type will they specialize in? Will their pay be docked? Yes. Now that I think about it, how much do Pokemon champions even get paid? Like, do they even have yearly salaries? You know what? That's besides the point. Okay, let's get this started. First, we have Blue, the champion of the Cancer region. Oh yeah, and there's the other guy too, but we'll get to him later. What type will Blue specialize in? Well, I'm going to be taking a little inspiration from the Unova region. In Pokemon Black and White, the gym leader that you will fight will depend on your starter. They will use the Elemental Monkey that is super effective against your starter. How does this relate to Blue's team? Well, I'm going to use the same premise as that gym. Blue will either use Charmander, Squirtle, or Bulbasaur depending on your starter's type. This reflects on how Blue will choose the starter that is super effective against yours in the Kanto games. I feel like this is a good way for new players to learn type matchups, as they will have to adapt without only relying on their starter. Because let's be honest, we all used to over-rely on our starters because we were too lazy to train our other Pokemon. But yeah, that's it for Blue. What about the other guy? What's his name again? Oh yeah, Doofus. Doofus is your rival in the Let's Go games. Similarly to Blue, he becomes champion. Somehow. He will either use an Eevee or Pikachu depending on what version you play. So if you're playing Let's Go Pikachu, then he'll use Eevee and vice versa. So what will his gym leader team look like? I think one of his team members has to be a Pidgey, because Pidgeot was his ace in his champion team. Pidgey is a normal / flying type Pokemon, and the other normal type Pokemon he uses is Eevee. So he will be a normal type gym leader consisting of Pidgey and Eevee. I feel like this is a balanced team for the first gym leader. Next, we have Lance, and this is going to be tricky. Lance is a dragon trainer, which is insane for the first gym leader. Why, you may ask? Because the dragon type resists fire, water, and grass type attacks. Do you know what Pokemon usually use those attacks? The starters. So it's going to be very hard for the player to defeat the gym leader, especially when it's the first. And don't get me started on Dragon Rage. Dragon Rage sweeps the early game. So yeah, you're basically cooked if you have to fight a Pokemon that has that move. So the question is, how do we make Lance a suitable first gym leader? And keep in mind, this takes place in Johto. I believe his potential team are Magikarp and Horsey. I know, what a remarkable team. To be fair, Lance does own a Kingdra and a Gyarados, but here's the thing. He'll become a water type gym leader. Too bad we already have Claire though, so you obviously can't be a dragon trainer anymore. Also, I'm aware that Magikarp doesn't learn Tackle, its first attacking move, until level 15. But if Champion Lance is able to use a level 40 something Dragonite, then we can make it so that Magikarp learns Tackle at a lower level. Come on, give me a break. Next, the Hoenn region. First, we have Steven. Steven would be a Steel type gym leader. His team will consist of Aron and Beldum. This is akin to his Aggron and his Ace Metagross in Ruby and Sapphire. Yeah, that's about it for Steven. Now on to Wallace. Wallace is the champion in the Pokemon Emerald game. And obviously, he'd be the water type gym leader. I mean, he was literally the water type gym leader in the original Ruby and Sapphire games. His team will consist of Lovedisk, Lotad, and Barboach. I feel like these Pokemon are well balanced for the first gym. Also, Wallace does use the evolved versions of these Pokemon in his champion fight, so it all makes the most sense that these Pokemon would be on his team. And yes, I know about Juan, the gym leader who replaces Wallace as the water type gym leader in Emerald. But you know what? Screw Juan. Next, we have the Sinnoh region, Cynthia. 6 Garchomps. Now I'm playing. But what type would she specialize in? I'd say the ground type. What do you mean, Bertha? The ground type Elite 4 member? Oh, just replace her with Rourke or something. Anyways, she owns a Garchomp and a Gastrodon on her champion team, which are both ground types. So her gym leader team will consist of Shellos and Gible. And before you say anything, yes, I am aware that Shellos is a pure water type Pokemon, but it learns some ground moves at least. I know I'm kind of reaching, but come on, let me have this one. Oh yeah, and also of course, Gibble won't learn Dragon Rage. Thankfully, the Unova region is next. The champion of the Black and White games is Alder. His team will consist of Rufflet and Bouffalant, so his specialty will be normal. These two Pokemon appear on his various teams. Yes, I am aware that Alder does own more Bug-type Pokemon, but Burge is already the Bug-type gym leader, so we can't really have two Bug-type gym leaders. That's about it for Alder. Ed is next. If you didn't know, he defeats Alder in Pokemon Black and White and becomes the new champion before the player could face Alder, which is insane to think about. I hope Pokemon does more of these crazy plot twists in the future games. Anyways, I think he would specialize in the dark type. What do you mean, Grimsley? Isn't that guy like retired in Alola? Screw him. This fits with his ace Zoroark, so his gym leader team will of course have Zora, and let's throw in like a Purloin or something. I mean, he does use one in his first battle. Now that I think about it, I don't think N would want to be a gym leader, but then again, I don't think any champion would want to be demoted to the first gym leader. The last for Unova is Iris. And great, another dragon type user. But wait, she owns an Archeops and an Aggron, so you know what? You're a rock specialist. Remember your dream of becoming the greatest dragon master? Well, you better lay that dream to rest, because it ain't happening. This is your new team. Aaron and Archon, that's about it. The champion of Kalos is Diantha. And not going to lie, this was hard. Like, super hard. Her team is pretty diverse. Every single type that she has in her arsenal is already taken by the other gym leaders and the Elite Four. Half of her team consists of Pokemon that are also on the other gym leaders' teams. I guess this is what happens when you have a limited Pokedex. How do we build up her team? So we're going to do a little cheating, a little tomfoolery. We're going to replace the Psychic Gym Leader and make Diantha the new Psychic Gym Leader. And of course, she'll be the first Gym Leader. Her team will consist of Pumpkaboo and Ralts. Now hear me out. I know Pumpkaboo is not a Psychic type Pokemon, but it does learn some Psychic moves such as Light Screen and Trick Room. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, this team is not ideal, but it's the best I can come up with. Please have mercy. Unfortunately, we're going to skip the Alola region since they don't have any gym leaders. Also, canonically, the player character is the first ever champion of Alola, and obviously we can't judge the player character. Next, we got Leon, the champion of Galar, the undefeatable champion. Guess what, buddy? You're going down. The type he'll specialize in is Ghost. Yes, I know Alistair exists, and he's the Ghost gym leader for Pokemon Shield. But you know what? We're going to ignore Pokemon Shield so that he isn't in the picture. Anyways, he uses an Aegislash and a Dragapult on his champion team. So he's going to utilize their pre-evolutions, Honedge and Dreepy. Sorry Charizard, you gotta go. And now, the last region, Paldea, the quote-unquote top champion, Kita. And yes, finally, an easy team to construct. I got two perfect Pokemon. One relates to her ace, Glimmora, which of course will be a Glimmet because that's the pre-evolution. And the next Pokemon, Bergmite, in which she will terrestrialize into a rock type. It makes sense, right? Bergmite is a glacier. Glaciers usually have rocks inside of them, which is perfect with the theming. It'll also learn Rock Tomb, which will be its major move. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention that she uses an Avalugg on her champion team, which is why I also chose Bergmite. That's all folks, and thanks for watching. If you want to watch another one of my videos, go check out Pokemon that are copycats.